Well, I really appreciate your testimony this morning, and I completely agree with you that we cannot waste this opportunity to revamp the entire VA system because, I think you said, Mr. McLean, we'll be back here once again. And, I was just looking at the VA Health Administration organizational chart. And what is it going to take? I mean, do we have to get arrange for a bidding for some outside consultants to tell the VA how to reorganize itself? Because obviously, they can't, I don't believe that they can reorganize themselves. Mr. Metkowski, the Assistant Deputy Undersecretary, was here on Monday. He seemed to think that a few fixes here and there in the system is going to make everything hunky-dory. And I completely agree with, I think with all of you who sort of said the whole system needs to be evaluated and a structure of management put in place that allows more communication between the management and the people that actually deliver care. As a physician, I worked at the VA. I, by the way, don't think that the health record is all that great, but it's often better than many other health records. We need to have better communication between, I feel like, the physicians who actually take care of patients and the top management, because often physicians are put in circumstances that waste their time, are bad for patients, and don't get things done in an efficient manner. So how do we make that happen? Can you maybe give me some more ideas, expand upon what you said before? Maybe each of you could take a minute of this and tell me how, as Congress, how can we make this happen to the VA to change the entire structure so that it's much more efficient?
Doctor, I would start off with contracting with people who are expert in organizational design. There are companies out there that's exactly what they do. It is a skill. It's an expertise. And I really wouldn't expect VA to be able to determine exactly what that next organization should be, because that's not their expertise. But there are companies that's all they do, and they do it very well. So that's where I would start to look.
All right. Mr. Collard?
If I could extend Mr. McLean's comments, we can assess all day long, but the real question is once the assessment's completed and recommendations are given, will there be execution on those recommendations? And with the number of physicians we have on the panel, let's just use two glaring examples. We used aspirin with an acute MI earlier. That's probably a pretty successful metric across the United States. But then let's talk about hand washing. We've been talking about hand washing for as many centuries as there are medicine essentially out there, and for some reason we've not gotten good at hand washing. The difference between one metric like aspirin with an acute MI and hand washing is we just tend to continue to talk about it, and those organizations that find a way to put the structure in place for clear expectations, execution, verification, and validation of those organizations that find themselves the ability to reduce infections by just improving something as common sense, uncommonly practiced as hand washing.
Now you're really close to my heart. But I would say, in addition to looking at the top-down structure, and we know leadership is important from the top, spend more time listening to what the doctors in the VA say. Here's what I hear. They're very frustrated when they see a patient and they say, I'd like to see this patient again in 30 days, right? And then all that malarkey goes on, and they never see that patient again. Patient never gets an appointment with that doctor again. There's not enough continuity of care with the same physician. And when Dr. Ruiz said before, this has got to be patient-centered, it's really got to be patient-centric. It's really got to be the doctor-patient relationship. That is what is being lost in this huge bureaucracy. And we really have to make sure that's protected, because that's, in essence, what's going to make these vets better. That's what's going to save their lives. And so in addition to looking at the top-down structure, I would really make sure you're talking to the physicians who are working inside the organization.
Oh, I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, as a physician that worked there, I was very frustrated by the fact that ideas that I had, just weren't taken up or dismissed because they were my ideas and they weren't coming from the management. And that would need to be fixed by this basic restructuring of the entire system. I'm out of time. Thank you.